There we go. Good morning, everyone. I hope that you have been reading, even if it is just text messages on your phone. Keep reading. It all counts. All reading, all writing. If you answer a text message in English on your phone, you are writing in English. It all counts. All right. Everything you read, everything you write counts as reading. I just want you to remember that. So, good morning. We're going to look at some adjectives for frequency. What do you think frequency means? What is frequency? Does anyone know what frequency is?
I think it's the repetition of things.
If we refer to the frequency of something, what are we talking about?
Repetition frequency.
Yeah. Well, that exactly. It could be repetition. And if something happens a lot of times, it's how often something happens or how seldom things happen. So we'll look at that. And then we will have an article about sharks to listen to and listen for some collocations, words that fit together, because there's a lot of good collocations in this one. After that, we're going to try and rebuild a sentence that I've broken into little pieces. So hopefully you can find the subject, the verb, and the object, and the clauses that are included, and put that sentence back together. All right. And then I have written a I completed a paragraph based on our brainstorming and the organization that we created. And so I'll show you mine. Hopefully other people have written some too. And if you have, you can share them with us. And we will try taking one of the other starting sentences and writing another one. All right, so let's get going. So, screen. Share. There we go. And here we are. There, adverbs of frequency. Oops. It's down, so it's not there. All right.
Welcome to BBC Learning English. I'm Sam, and today we are going to look at adverbs of frequency. You know these: always, sometimes, never. But where do they go in a sentence? Look at always in this sentence. Does it come before or after the verb? Helen always starts work at 7. The verb is starts and always comes before. Rule number 1. Next sentence. Helen isn't always happy about this. The verb is and always was after. Rule number 2. Last sentence. Helen has always hated early starts. Trick question. There was an auxiliary verb has and a main verb hated, and always went after the auxiliary verb. Rule number 3.
Right. So always, often, sometimes, rarely. Got lots of different ones. She showed you always. And if we look at the examples here, I've got question is how often. So how often, how frequently do you go to the gym? And the 3 rules for using these are before the main verb, if it's an active verb. So go, I always go, I often go, sometimes go, or rarely, or never. So when it's active, so how often do you swim in the ocean? I always swim in the ocean. So when you've got an active, an action verb, all right. If the verb is to be or a helping verb, it goes after. So she isn't always happy, and they are never late. Right. And then in between the auxiliary and the main verb. So Helen has hated. How often has she? Helen has always hated early starts. And she does not go to school by bus, but she does sometimes. So she doesn't often go to school by bus. So that fits in the middle there. So let's try the quiz. And you can type into, I've got to get the chat up there again. There we go. Got the chat up. And so try and answer in the chat. If you can't, raise your hand or give us a shout. Which of these is not an adverb of frequency? You can test it by putting it into a sentence. Like, I always go. Is that one an adverb of frequency? Yes. Yes. And so sorry, you have figured it out. Has anyone else figured out which of these? So if we say, I go shopping, I go shopping, I always go shopping. Does that fit? Yes. I hardly ever go shopping. Does that fit? I quickly go shopping. Does that fit? Everybody with me? Agree with Intisar?
Yeah.
Good. Let's check the answer. Nope. It's an adverb of manner, of how you do something. So, because remember, an adverb of frequency, which question out of our who, what, where, when, why, and how questions, which one is an adverb of frequency answering? If we go back to that one, oh, I can't go back. So adverbs of frequency are answering when, but quickly would be answering how, right? So there we go. Which is the correct answer from here? Work.
C.
You've got it into a side excellently. And Fatima, yes, exactly. It's C. And why is it C?
None of the others would make sense.
I have to, because the challenging is ing. I think I need auxiliary verb.
Yes.
Yeah, the frequency.
Is this working as the auxiliary verb? Good job. Excellent. Precisely. And there we go. How about this one? Choose your correct answer. As your wife, I. Oh, actually, that was the verb to be, which is always after to be, right? And this one, I.
Oh, that should be.
What's the relationship between will and help?
I don't know how to explain.
It means future. She will help you in future. It's not no.
Is it past? Sorry, is it present and future? That's what you mean?
No, I mean, is it will and help? Will is I will help. Will is a helping verb. And it's an auxiliary verb. And help is the main
Help is
verb.
the main verb. Yeah.
Is I help you or I will help you?
I will help you.
Exactly. So where does the always go? When you've got a...
In the middle between the main verb and
Exactly. So which one is correct?
I will always help. Number B.
Precisely.
Fair, yeah.
Right? There we go. Good job. Good job. Just a little thing. So on the last one, the answer was because of the verb to be, is. Something is, and then you have the verb of frequency, adverb of frequency there. Right? Hopefully that's a little bit clear. So before the main verb, if it's an action verb, after the verb, if it's to be, as in I am, he is, we are. So I am always. Okay. Good stuff. And then on the third one, it's between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. So will help means will always help. It would go there. All right. That's good. Good stuff. All right. Let's move on to sharks. Do you think that sharks will always bite you?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that swimmers are sometimes bitten by sharks?
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yes. Do you think the sharks always want to bite people?
No, no.
Good.
I think so.
Well, here we're going to find out. Are sharks dangerous to people? There are films that say sharks are very, for entertainment, not fact, that say sharks are very dangerous for people. Should we believe them? Are sharks really dangerous for people? Let's listen and find out.
6 Minute English
from bbclearningenglish.com.
Hello, this is 6 Minute English from BBC Learning English. I'm Sam.
And I'm Rob. Now, on Friday the 29th of June 1975, movie posters appeared in cinemas all over the USA with the now notorious words, "You'll never go in the water again." So, do you know which movie was being promoted, Sam?
Yes, I think it was Jaws, Steven Spielberg's infamous horror movie, which terrified a generation with its story of a man-eating great white shark with a taste for revenge and for human flesh.
Jaws multiplied people's fascination with and fear of sharks.
But sharks' fearsome reputation is not based on facts. Most attacks on humans are cases of mistaken identity, where the shark mistakes a swimmer for fish. In recent years, the average annual number of worldwide deaths from shark bites was as low as 4.
Today, sharks should be the apex predators of the ocean, the top predator that hunts and eats other animals but has no natural predator of its own.
Instead, over 100 million sharks are caught and killed each year, and thanks to this overfishing, many shark species are now endangered. We'll hear more soon, but first I have a question for you, Rob. Approximately how many different species of shark exist today? Is it A, 330, B, 530, or C, 730?
Well, I'll take a guess at B, 530.
Okay, I'll reveal the correct answer later in the programme.
Now, as Sam mentioned, Jaws made many people nervous about swimming in the sea, largely thanks to scenes in the movie showing the shark biting swimmers in a frenzy of teeth and blood.
George Burgess has spent 40 years studying the cause of shark attacks in his job as director of the Florida Program for Shark Research. According to him, the movie's depiction of great whites is totally unrealistic, as he told BBC World Service program The Inquiry.
Will a single shark that's involved in a bite on a human be more likely to bite another human in the future? In other words, is there something of the Jaws image, as we saw, unfortunately, in the movies, of which you had a white shark that apparently had a grudge and would try to go after humans? Well, nothing could be farther from the truth than that.
In the movie, sharks are portrayed as vengeful creatures who recognise and try to kill individual people. The shark in Jaws had a grudge, a feeling of anger or hatred towards someone because of what they did in the past.
According to marine biologist George Burgess, this is nothing like the real behaviour of sharks in the wild. He says nothing could be further from the truth, an expression used to emphasise that something is not true at all.
The actual truth is that sharks have been perfectly designed by evolution for their ocean environment. In fact, they have hardly changed over the last 400 million years, making them even older than the dinosaurs.
Sharks' characteristic design, their fin, teeth and skin, allows them to thrive in their natural environment. Listen to Oliver Crimmen, senior curator at London's Natural History Museum, explaining more to BBC World Service programme The Inquiry.
If we look at the really successful features of sharks, you've got to consider this cartilaginous skeleton. That's no bone in the skeleton. That flexible material that the skeleton is made of enables sharks to be very agile, and it enables them to be athletic, and it's lightweight.
Sharks' skeletons are made of cartilage, not bone. Cartilage is a strong, flexible tissue which connects joints in the bodies of living creatures.
Feel for the bony material in the fold of your ear. That's cartilage.
Not having bones allows sharks to be both flexible, able to bend without breaking, and agile, able to move their body quickly and easily. Boneless, bendy, and built for speed, sharks really are the perfect evolutionary design.
Yet overfishing and the cruel practice of finning, cutting off shark fins to make exotic soups, and returning the wounded creature to the sea to die are threatening shark numbers.
Which is why it's tragic that so many of their species are facing extinction. And speaking of shark species, what was the answer to your question, Sam?
In my quiz question, I asked how many species of shark there are in existence.
Yeah, and I guessed it was around 530 different species.
Which was the correct answer, Rob. And the variety of shark species is incredible, from giants like the great white to the tiny dwarf lantern shark.
Okay, let's recap the vocabulary from this programme all about sharks, the ocean's apex predator. That's the top predator that hunts other animals but has no predators of its own.
If you hold a grudge, you have feelings of anger towards someone because of something they did in the past.
The phrase, nothing could be further from the truth, is used to emphasise that something is totally false.
Cartilage is the strong, flexible tissue connecting bones or joints in the body.
Flexible means able to bend without breaking.
And finally, if you're agile, you can move your body quickly and easily.
So once again, our 6 minutes are over.
Bye for now.
Goodbye.
6 Minute English
from the BBC.
So, did you hear the explanation of why sharks sometimes bite people?
Yes.
What was the answer to that?
They are misunderstood with fishes.
Yes, it's always a mistake. They don't actually want. But if you swim in the water looking like a seal, which they do like to eat, unfortunately, they can accidentally bite you because they think you are a nice meal instead of being a human, which they don't like bones. Too many bones. So, has anyone ever seen a shark? Has anyone here ever seen a shark?
On TV, yes, in real life, no.
Yeah. One time in the ocean, I saw one very far away, but never very.
Oh, I forgot. I saw them by an aquarium.
Oh, very good. Yeah,
that counts. Yeah,
it does. I've seen lots of them in aquariums too. Have anyone else?
I was in London Aquarium, the one next to London Eye.
Yes.
Someone invited me there, and there's a lot of fish, and there was a shark. Yeah.
Oh, very good. Very good. Right. Wow. There we go. So there were a lot of good collocations in here. Words that go together. A fearsome reputation. Fearsome reputation. It's a way of describing something that has known people think are scary. Has a fearsome reputation. I like this. Was nothing could be further from the truth. Have you heard that phrase before? Or is that a new phrase? It's a very...
No, we haven't heard, but that was an interesting one.
Yeah, it's a very strong phrase to say that is absolutely untrue. Very good. Right. All right. Well, let's go on and look at our sentences again. There we go. You will have the links to these so you can watch or listen to them again. I think I'll pop this down for now. There we go. And so now we know where to put our adverbs of frequency. Maybe we can try using those inside of our paragraph when we get there. Right. So, actually, let me do this way. There we go. So I found this article on social media and plastic surgery. So I think what we'll do, let's read this at the level 2. Okay. Would someone like to read this, or would you like for me to read it? Your choice. We can read this out loud. I think I'll just...
I can go.
Oh, good. Thank you, Fatima.
Just, where do you want me to stop?
Just start here, and since, and end at the word surgery at the end. Okay. Don't click in the wrong place either. Whoops, sorry.
Fine.
Come on, go away. There we are. I'm back. All right.
Since the start of the pandemic, plastic surgery procedures became even more popular. The reason is that many people started to spend much more time on camera. Many social media have filters which can make the nose look smaller or the skin brighter. Within a second, a user can see how differently he or she could look. Experts warn that some filters make people look too beautiful, but beauty trends change. In the past, only rich people could afford plastic surgery procedures. But nowadays, almost anyone can change their body. Many doctors change their profession and become plastic surgeons. In some cases, they perform procedure. I can't pronounce that one correctly. I don't know why.
That's okay. You're very good.
Procedures without enough skills before someone decides to have a plastic surgery. They must do a lot of researches and consider the risk because plastic surgery is still a surgery.
Okay. So interesting article, I thought. There's a wonderful, once again, wonderful collocations in this. Plastic surgery procedures, the fact that we call medical, anything medical, a procedure. It's very important. So there's a lot of really good language in here. This is at level 2. So what have we got for what do we understand from this article? What is happening? What is happening in the article?
The main language or the article itself?
Just in the subject. What's going on? What is it talking about?
Changing your shape through plastic surgery.
And if we're talking about frequency, is it increasing or decreasing?
It's increasing, I think.
Yes. And why is it saying it's increasing?
Because it's becoming a normal thing, like normal surgery.
But why do people think about plastic surgery more? What has changed?
A beauty standard that we see on trend with the filters.
Yeah. So more people are, because they are on social media, on camera, they are thinking about how they look more. Right. And is it good for doctors to do plastic surgery?
Yes, because they are making lots of money.
But is it good for people?
No. Without experience, no.
Yes, that's the challenge because they don't have enough experience. Okay, so we really understand the article. We know what's going on, an increase in plastic surgery. We know who's doing it, people who are on social media. And we know that the problem is doctors don't always have the training they need. Excellent. So I'm not going to show you level 3. I have taken the first sentence, one of the first sentences from the level 3 final version of this, and I want you to put the sentence back together. So this is the first sentence in the level 3 article, so in the next version of the article. And how would you put these together? Now, what's the first thing you should look for? What's the most important? What's the heart of our sentence? That beating heart of our sentence.
The verb.
The verb, exactly. So what are you going to look for first?
Main verb.
See if you can find a phrase that's got an active verb in it. So look for the verb first. So
changing dramatically.
And what's that verb?
Changing.
Auxiliary verb.
Yeah. We've got a compound verb there, and is our changing dramatically tells us what's going on. The verb to be tends not to be a helping verb. It tends to be more of the active verb. So great. So we've got our verb. So what is changing? Oh, that's the other thing. So if we were going to, let's try, sorry, I meant to paraphrase all of these first. So what have we got here? We've got is changing dramatically. So yeah, there we go. We've got our active verb, and that's a fairly clear one. But the field of plastic surgery, what do we mean by that? That's pretty straightforward, actually. And this is another one where the collocation, a field of study we use field to talk about an area of study, okay, or a skill. So, oh, actually, we don't need to paraphrase these. So, what order would you put these in?
The field of plastic surgery.
So do you think, which one is the object? I'm sorry, the subject of this.
The field of plastic surgery.
Does everyone agree?
But it's not a capital. It's not a capital.
Well, that would have been giving the game away, wouldn't it?
I think.
All right, what's going to come next?
I've changed dramatically.
Yes. Excellent.
Thanks to shifts.
What do we mean by thanks to? What? How would you? What's another way of saying? Oh, sorry, keep hitting the wrong thing. What's another way of saying this?
Thanks.
This is because of.
Like
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of, and by shifts, what do we mean by shifts? Do you think? Can you think what?
Changes?
Yes.
Changing.
Excellent. Excellent. I love getting you thinking about synonyms. This is really important. Okay. So thanks to shifts is the same as because of changes. So the field of plastic surgery is changing. Why is it changing? Because of, or I keep doing that. There we go. Hit the right button, Jan. There we go. Thanks to shifts. And what kind of shifts?
Yeah, in technology, that's the last one.
There we go. Very good. You put the sentence back together. Yay. So it says a lot. It talks about a great deal. So dramatically is the quality of the change. So that would be like quickly. So that's an adverb of quality rather than frequency. And you got it right. That was the answer. All right. So in the notes, I'm going to give you another one, or shall we do this now? Let's see what time we have. Oh no, we're gonna go away. I hate these pop-ups on my screen. All right, I will give you this one to try on your own. I'll make sure that it's in the email as well as in the document that I send. But back to our paragraph. Has anyone written a paragraph from our plan? I even put it in the email so you didn't even have to open the attachment to see it. Has anyone written a paragraph based on this? Anyone?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. We're going to keep going on this. I've done one.
I'm sorry. I have a lot of other stuff to.
I know.
I'm doing other classes, lessons, so sometimes I don't have a time to catch up.
All right. This is the practice, like I said, this is the practice that we need for the IELTS preparation as well. We need to, as we did, generate ideas, map them out, and then write a paragraph based on it. Now, I took this one and I wrote us a paragraph. So And if I zoom out a bit, I can show you that, and you can find all of the things, all of our examples and ideas you can find in this paragraph. So if you want to take a moment to read that. So can you find helping others without asking? So I'm going to, oh, what did I do? Again, screen jumping around, silly thing. So I'm going to highlight each of these in a different color. So one, make that one blue, and example 3, pink. All right, see if we can find all of the examples in the paragraph. So we worked on different starting sentences, and this was my paragraph. Can everyone see that I used that there? And I used the second example there. And I used third example there. All right. So can you see how I put this together now? So I will include this again in the next email, and we can try taking one of the other or finding a different way of saying these things. All right. And practice writing a paragraph based on this using one of the other starting sentences. Okay. Does that sound like something you can do?
Yes, of course, I think.
Good. All right. So giving you a little bit of guidance. Ooh, there we go. And I will give you another puzzle based on this next week. And we'll do another idea and some brainstorming. All right. So we're still working on our sentence structure, right? And our paragraph structure. All right. So do you see how these examples support our idea of kindness? And I've used a lot of things with collocations, or turns of phrase, really. The best present of all is a way we say something that was really good. All right. Any thoughts, any questions? Anything you would change? Hello, Chad. Hello, Chad. Welcome. So, anything that you would change, what would you add to this?
The gray one, helping someone to cross a road or climb some stairs. I would say helping someone to cross the road or climb the stairs.
You would change it to the?
Yeah.
Okay. Or climb stairs? Yeah, it works without. Those are correct as well. What we've done is we've changed our article from the indefinite to the definite. So that would mean it's the road that you're at rather than any road.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how that changes the meaning. Climb stairs versus climb some stairs. The meaning still holds. We tend to soften everything in English with qualitative softeners. So we would tend to say some stairs. Okay. Or you could be very specific if we want to go to the more definite. Cross the road or climb the stairs. Or climb a set of stairs would be more definite. Very good. Very good. So, what should we choose? Let's choose a topic for a new paragraph. Do we want to keep talking about kindness? Do we want to talk about something else? Maybe sharks, evolution, animals. Maybe is a kind of industry, is it good or bad?
Maybe if we could describe a chart or, one of the IELTS
absolutely, that we will. We're going to introduce after this, we're going to start actually, and we'll just carry on then, because after this, we're going to start working on the writing portions of the IELTS exam. And everything that we have done here, brainstorming and then planning what we write, all of this is exactly what you need to do and the process that you need to follow in order to get a level 7 on the IELTS writing exam. So we can carry right on. Hopefully all of you, I'm going to say something about this now. Hopefully all of you have heard about, stop sharing for a second. Do we have everyone? Yes. There is a meeting after this meeting, after our class today, and hopefully you'll all be able to attend it. It's from 12 to 1, and it's the Olive feedback meeting. And so you should have all gotten an email about this, and hopefully you will all be able to attend. So yeah. So that's a great idea. I'm going to pick up a topic from our IELTS training, and let's find. I'm going to take an IELTS question from one of mine, and I'm going to put it here in the chat so everyone can see it. So we're going to start working on this essay. Now, that means there's going to be lots of paragraphs. So we need to think about what the paragraphs will be. So let's start there, and we will start coming up with ideas for that through our next several writing classes. So, all right. Yes, I'm trying to see if Corinne is here. All right. Is everyone aware of the meeting that is after this one?
Yes, I got an email.
Okay, good, good. It's just it's really important that you that you attend that if you possibly can, and so hopefully everyone will. I will remind you at the end of class today as well, but she did ask me to remind you for that while we're in class.
And how long does it go? Is it like an hour or half an hour?
It's an hour, but I'm sure that if you cannot stay for the whole thing, coming at the beginning is really helpful. All right. Yeah. So it goes from 12 to 1. Like I said, it's a feedback meeting. So if you want to go in and make sure that you get what you want to say heard, they're really looking for your opinion, and any, we need your feedback to make this better.
Sure.
Okay, that's the one thing we all want. Yeah, it's the one thing we all want to do in this job, is to do better next time. So, all right. Right, well, we've had frequency, we've had sharks, we've had our paragraph. You've seen an example of that paragraph, and you've got another word puzzle to put together. I really recommend, if you take a moment when you're in News in Levels, look at the level 3 sentences, pull them apart. Where are the phrases? Where's the active verb? That's the grammar you're trying to emulate, okay? That's the grammar you're trying to emulate. And if you're working on building a grammar, start at level 1, make sure you read through it, and try writing a summary telling who, what, where, when, and why for that article. All right. Right. So hopefully, if everybody's ready, let's bash on with our IELTS work today. So.
Excuse me, before we go to that, I
Sure.
was thinking about the arguments that you put on the chat. So the sentences, for me, it's a little ambiguous because I don't know the explanation of two arguments. What are the arguments really?
Oh, in fact, why don't I just put this up here? There we go.
In the chat.
Yes. So I put it up on the screen now. This is the same as was in the chat. It is sometimes argued, and that's a perfect question. Let's go ahead and look at this right now. This is the kind of thing that you're going to get on the IELTS exam. So we had the first thing we have to do is break it apart. It is sometimes argued. What is argued? Okay, we need to find out what the arguments are. We've got one argument. Some people think that, there we go, too many students go to university, while others claim that a university education should be a universal right. Okay, so those are our two sides of the argument. So do you think that too many students go to university? Or do you think now what does a universal right mean? If it's a universal right,
everyone's right.
Everyone should go.
There you go. Excellent. Everyone should go to university. Actually, does it mean that they should go to, or they should?
Should be able to go to.
Yeah, should be able to go.
Have
Should
the
be able.
opportunity. So the opportunity should be to everyone. Okay. So that's going to be the main thing. So what the next thing to think about, what would be a good argument? What would prove that too many students go to university? Why?
So, can I just say one thing before you go to that? And this was the confusion actually. I think, in my belief, both of the arguments looks like the same arguments, because we can say like going to university education is a universal claim, universal right. That's why too many students go to university.
But should it be? Because this is, if you're arguing, if one person is saying too many people go, but the other person is saying everyone should be able to go, the word is should. What should be? So which do you think is right?
But there is no word should in the first one.
Maybe.
Well,
No.
if you say that too many are going, remember we talked about what very versus too.
Yeah.
If very many students go to university, is there a problem?
No.
No.
If too many students go to university, is the person who's saying it saying there's a problem?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where the should comes in, because it means that someone is saying this is a problem. We have too many students in university.
That's not true.
It's an interesting question, isn't it?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming, but it is not true.
Okay, so
I think a lot of people try to go to they try to they don't try to waste time on the university. They try to, I think nowadays they try to figure things out, and lots of people are going to social media. They're going to just stuff that they can learn quickly and get job quickly. A lot of people think university, university takes a very long time to complete and a very slow process. So people just take the quick and short, easy to get job.
That's very interesting.
Isn't that the case, or is it just my opinion?
No, it's
actually lots of people don't go to the university.
So you would say that you don't believe that too many students are going to university?
Yes, I don't think a lot of people want to put the effort to go to the university. It's very small amount of people actually that put effort to go to the university.
So excellent. So your position would be that you disagree with the first statement. Do you think everyone should be able to go to university?
I think that's another argument as well, because of the finance. A lot of people don't go to the university because they cannot afford the university.
So would you say that it should not cost so much, or is the cost a good thing to keep people from too many students to go from going?
It should not cost.
So you would say that you don't think too many
because a lot of people, as well, if you look at people around you, they count what's coming after the university, because if they are going for loan, they're going to get loan from the university if they cannot afford. Then it comes afterwards when they finish and they start the job. It costs from their pay slip a lot, and the interest that comes with it is so too much that it scares people that they don't put effort to go to the university. That's one thing.
Excellent. And this is exactly, just talking about these things and thinking about these things, this is how you start to build your essay. Because the first impulse when you read this and you start having ideas, language that you want to use, things that you want to say, ideas that you have, these we want to write down as quickly as possible, because we're going to use them like we did in that paragraph. We want to use them to build the answer that we're ultimately going to give.
I want to add something.
Yes,
it's not only the cost of university stop people, even the language people, they struggle and stuck the writing, speaking and listening. They are able and they passion to go to university, but sometimes the language be the barriers, one of the barriers. Yeah.
Excellent. Very good. That's another good and interesting idea.
Yeah, that's true.
Very good.
Even in the writing, people, they learn how to speak and how to communicate, but they don't know how to write academically. So this is, I think, the main point.
One of the reasons I love teaching academic writing. I don't want it to be a barrier.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm in your class, and I just felt that you are good in the writing, because your notes about the specific point, you focus on the writing, and I note that, because this is the main thing I'm looking for, and you focus on that area, and thank you so much.
I'm very glad.
Yes.
Very glad it's working for you. Okay, great.
I actually like your teaching, the way of teaching.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not easy to usually to understand what the teacher's talking about, but with you have a way of making it understandable, which is very nice. I like it.
That. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, let's look at what I want to do now is take a look at the actual writing exam. What is important? What does, most importantly, what do they think is important on the writing exam? All right, so we're going to take a quick look at the technical business on end of the writing exam, and then we're going to work on a task 1 writing problem. So let's get stuck into that so we can get it done. Let's do the whole screen again. There we go. All right, I'm going to put this down for a moment, and here we are, my great big writing thing. So duration of the writing test is, how long do you have to write your 2 essays?
40.
1 hour.
1 hour. 1 hour, 2 essays. Okay. All right. I want you to all be really scared right now. Oh my God, I have to write so much in 1 hour. And now you can do this. And I'm going to help you have the technique that will make it easy. Okay. I promise. It looks scary at the beginning. Everyone looks at the word count. Who's afraid of the word count?
I am.
How many words?
So, well, we have 150 words for task 1 and 250 for task 2. So you have 500 words. No, not 500. Sorry, 400 words to write in 60 minutes. So go ahead, be scared now. It's the last time you have to be scared of this exam, because you're going to plan it. You're going to observe, read, plan, and then write. And your writing will be so fast by the time you get there that it will work. How many people think that with so many words to write, the first thing you should do is put your pen on the paper and start writing?
Me.
Yeah, that's everybody's first instinct, is to go, oh, I have so many words to write, I have to start writing now. If you do that, you will not get your mark. If you do that, if you start writing without planning first, without that process that we've done in that paragraph, without what we started to do just now in that IELTS exam question, if you don't start by brainstorming, by thinking of as many ideas as you can, and then putting them in order, you will not get a 7. You can't. And in fact, you probably will be hard pressed to get a 6. Okay, the difference between a 5 and a 6 is the organization and the completeness. And you only get organization and completeness by planning. So, just so that you understand that I really mean this, here is what they say. Okay, I want you to look, these are the 4 marks that you get on your exam. Does it start with grammar and vocabulary?
No.
Does it start with word count?
No.
What does it start with?
Oh, yeah. Achieving, yes. The word count should be.
Okay, the word count is in there, but the criterion assesses how appropriately, accurately, and relevantly the response fulfills the requirements set out in the task. Okay, now, once again, remember when we were looking at articles, when we were doing the reading practice, where were the answers?
In the
question.
In the questions, once again, so how relevantly the response fulfills the requirements set out in the task. Okay, so you've got to understand that task or you can't do it. Okay, so reading and observing the question, whether it's on the task 2 or the task 1, knowing what you have to write is a quarter of your mark. Understanding what it is that you have to write is the key to getting a quarter of that mark. All right. What's the next one? So that's task achievement or task response. That's understanding and being able to break down and know what it is you need to say. All right. That's understanding the question is quarter of your mark. What's the next one? They say coherence and cohesion. Cohesion, coherence refers to the linking of ideas through logical sequencing. It's right there. Coherence refers to the linking of ideas through logical sequencing. If you don't make a plan and you put your pen down on the paper and start writing the minute you open the exam page, will you be able to link those ideas logically?
No.
Doesn't work that way. And that is another quarter of your mark. Okay. This is just the planning. Task 1, task achievement and coherence and cohesion are what you achieve in that planning stage. The first 5 minutes of looking at that question is when you get half your marks. The rest is just putting it down with the right grammar and vocabulary. Okay. Cohesion refers to the various and appropriate use of cohesive devices. So that's being able to say first, or the most important point. Secondly, putting those, or therefore, okay, all of those things that tie the stuff together. Well, you only know about those relationships. You can only use those words if you've already analyzed the relationship between the ideas that you need to put into your article and into your essay. All right. So what I want to do is real quick, focus on a couple of these and hopefully I'll have you so completely convinced that we never have to speak of it again. We'll know exactly why we're doing what we're doing when we look at, oh, wrong one. Let's try this one. There we go. So we're not going to look at the lowest levels. So the first 2 columns are task completion and coherence and cohesion. So if we look at level 5, recounts detail mechanically with no clear overview, there may be no data to support the description. Okay. So this is what happens when you don't plan. All right. Up here in 6, presents an overview with information appropriately selected. All right. This is for task 1 when you're describing a graph or a diagram. Okay. Level 5 on cohesion presents information with some organization, but there may be a lack of overall progression. And here's the biggest one, may be repetitive. If you put your pen down on the paper and start writing straight out of your head, you will repeat yourself. It's almost inevitable. And I've given practice exams to lots of students, and I can tell that quickly whether someone has written a plan first or not, because there will be a lack of cohesion and they'll miss something in the description that they need to do. Up here, so if you want to get a 6 or above, arranges the information coherently and there is a clear overall progression. Remember when we took those ideas and we put them into that little chart grouped together for that paragraph? That's the practice you need. That's exactly what you need to do. All right, so hopefully I have convinced you. Once again, on task 2, it's the same thing. If you don't plan, you may have only a partial response to the question. And the information will be okay, but there won't be a coherent progression. Once you get into 6, there we go. Information is coherent and there's a direct. And then up into 7, there's only one way that you can address all parts of the task. You've really got to understand what it is you're answering. And that's in the analysis at the beginning. And then you can logically organize the information and ideas, have a clear progression. You get your 7, all good, because you've got beautiful vocabulary and grammar, and you make sure that all your sentences are focused and clear with all the descriptors in clauses where they belong, right? Okay, enough of me nattering about that. Are you convinced? Are you going to read the question and plan, or are you going to start writing?
Planning.
Yay.
How many points will we lose for the grammar?
Oh, actually, that is an excellent question, because I did rather skip over that. That's an excellent question. If we slide this bar over there into vocabulary and grammar, this is another really beautiful thing that I want you to understand. At 5.
No, at 7.
Okay. At 5, we're using a limited range of vocabulary. At 6, we're using an adequate range of vocabulary. And at 7, we have a sufficient level range of vocabulary. In the grammar, at 5, only a few simple structures, sentence structures. So this is, think of it as level 1 in News and Levels, okay? Level 6, to get a 6, that's really level 2 in News and Levels. Still a limited range of structures, attempts complex sentences, but they tend to be less accurate. Now, errors can cause, this is the part that's really important. Errors can cause difficulty for the reader. So up to level 6, maybe your sentences are a little hard to understand. Maybe your vocabulary errors make it a little hard to understand what you mean. By 7, look at that. You can still make grammar errors in a level 7. But they can understand what you're saying. This is an exam of communication. So long as they can understand what you're saying, you can still get a few things wrong. It's okay. All right. Same with word choice. So long as they do not impede communication, you can still make errors at a level 7. All right. In fact, you can even get an 8 while making an error or two. Pretty wonderful, huh? And once again, the instructor who is marking, the person who's marking this exam, their job is to see how high they can credit you. Okay, if you're using complex structures and you're getting some of them right, you will get a 7. All right, so long as you're getting most of them right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Good. Feel a little stronger?
No.
Oh, it's about communication. So long as your errors don't, so long as they can still, they don't have to struggle to work out what you mean in a sentence. All right. So if you're writing sentences the way we're working on.
Yeah, but I'm worried about the spelling.
The spelling. Well, look at this. Here we are at 6. Spelling errors cause some difficulty. Level 7. Spelling errors, but they do not impede communication. Okay, so long as they can understand what you're writing, a few spelling errors are not going to affect your mark. Okay. All right. I'm saying this is good stuff, right? So at level 7, you're still making errors, but so long as they can understand what you're writing. My best recommendation is, please write a paragraph, send it to me. I'll tell you what you need to work on. Okay?
Okay.
All right. I really want to see your writing. And I can tell you what you need to focus on and how you need to shift it. Because if the sentences don't have to be completely error-free, so long as they can understand what it is you're trying to say without struggling, without too much effort. If your sentences are clear, you win. Okay. That's why that's why I'm focusing so much in the mornings on writing clear sentences. Making sure you've got that core sentence and you're adding in the information with clauses. And the more you practice that, the easier it will be on the exam. All right. So quick, let's look at writing task 1. We usually recommend that you only spend 20 minutes on it. Most people start with this. I kind of feel like in the writing, this is the warm up. All right. The hard work is in the second exam. This one is good for just, getting started, getting the flow of writing. It needs to be 3 to 4 paragraphs. You start with a description, you write an overview, and you write a paragraph for details. So I usually think 3 paragraphs is sufficient. So let's see what it looks like. Most of all, no opinions. All right. You don't want to write a particular, this isn't your opportunity to express yourself. You get that in you get that in the task 2 essay. All right. So no opinions. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a graph. The perfect, I had a British Council instructor tell me the perfect task 1 essay. It's very short, but the perfect one describes what you see, the diagram, the map, the process flow chart, whatever they give you. Describe it so perfectly so that someone who can't see it could draw it from your description. That's the perfect task 1 essay. Okay, so it's really about describing what you see and then the interactions between the points that you see. So I'm going to skip through this one. You'll get this in the, so here's a task 1 chart. So here we go. We've got a line graph. Can everyone see this? I hope.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a line graph. So when I open the book in the exam and I see the chart, the first thing I'm going to do is find all the things that stick out. So what are the points? What do you notice first here? Oops, sorry. There we go.
The company's names.
Okay, you've got the company names, but how about just looking at these lines? What do you see? What do you see? What are the places? What are the things? What are the movements? What parts of the lines are you going to definitely want to talk about in order to describe this?
The years and the other numbers.
Okay, we're definitely, when you describe this, you're going to say, okay, these are the companies, these are the years, these are the numbers. I think they don't even tell us what the numbers are.
I think these are the users' numbers.
Yeah, they could be users, or it could be stock values. It could be anything. Okay, but how about if we just follow the yellow line? What are the points that we're actually going to talk about?
The peak and the bottom and the start point.
So we're going to look there. We're going to look at the starting point, right? And we're going to look at the difference between the starting point and the end point, which is next to none. All right. So it's this line up and this line down. They really catch your eye, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about key features. Okay. So if we're talking about, oh no, I need a line. There we go. Okay. So I've got a line and I'll make it green like the green one. So what are we going to say about the green one? What's important about it?
A steady, going up steadily.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got its beginning and its end, and we've got this very straightforward trajectory, right? How about the blue line? How about Yahoo? What's it doing?
The opposite. It's going down steadily.
Right. And of course, Google, that's the easy one. What's it doing?
Staying the same, not moving.
Exactly, exactly. So that's the first thing about it, because when we look at a chart, there's things that draw our eye. And all of the things that draw your eye that you immediately see, those are the key features. That's how you find them. All right. So these are what we've done here, the stars and arrows that we've scribbled on here. These are all of the things that we're going to want to talk about in order to describe the chart. Everyone with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we can start thinking about, and this is the procedure at the beginning. All right, so you're going to look at a chart, a map, a graph, something of the sort, And what if you're in the paper exam, just go ahead and circle all of the things that catch your eye and write down some descriptors that you can think of next to them. What vocabulary are you going to use? So why don't we do that real quick? What kind of vocabulary would we use for the movement of the apple line, the yellow, from here to here? What kind of language would we use?
We can say skyrocketing.
Yes. This is your chance to use all sorts of fabulous collocations for a rapid rise. Okay. And how about for what it did after 2012?
It came down on the nosedive.
Yeah, nosedive. Excellent. I like that. That's a good one. Fell precipitously, plummeted. Anything that describes a fall, a rapid fall. Excellent. Excellent. Good stuff. So, and you already started with the language for the rise, so gradual increase. What's another way of saying that? What other things could we say? Gradual.
Exponential growth.
Oh.
A little mathematical, but
yeah, well, exponential usually means that it would be off the chart, or you would need an exponential chart, yeah, a different chart to do it. Exponentially, I would use softer words for this one. What are some other words that we could use for gradual?
We can use steadily.
Steady growth, yeah. Because this is, you know, I'd invest with them. They're growing on a regular basis. I would leave Apple alone because you're as likely to lose as you are to gain.
Can we use constant growth?
Constant, good. Yes, constant is another good word for that. Excellent. So there we go. And stable, steady, flat. Words for and how about this decline? It's a very soft line. It's not a very steep line, is it? So
gradual decrease.
Gradual decrease. Yep. That's very, very straightforward and accurate. So so this is these are some words that we use to describe this. You want to give the date range when you're describing it. And then you want to use all of these wonderful language, which we did, and to describe all of these. Really good. Okay, how are we doing? So sometimes they get complicated. So let me just make sure I've got everything right. Yeah. Sometimes you get multiple charts. This is an example. And I've got a sample answer for this one as well. So let's take a quick look at these, and we'll look at the sample answer real quick. And then I'll show you some additional practice opportunities. Yes? So on this one, we want to look at the, what have we got? So let's just describe what we have to begin with. So this first one is what? What's it called? This first.
bar chart,
Yep. And these are called?
pie chart.
Excellent. So we have a bar chart and two pie charts. And what are they describing?
The percentage of shares.
Oops, sorry. There we go.
Education level.
I don't know why this is doing this. Oh, sorry. I'm having difficulty with my software.
It's about the shares out of 100.
The one that we're looking at now, we've changed charts. We're not looking at the line one anymore. See if you can read the.
Yeah, it's the education level depending on the age.
There we go. So we've got a bar chart that is education levels by age range in Glasgow in 2010. And the bottom one is education levels by
gender.
There we go. What do you notice? What stands out when you look at this? Where is your eye attracted? What are the things that you immediately see?
The
in the second one, we can see percentage. It cannot be out of 100. In the pie chart, we cannot say 200. So that's usually calculated out of 100. And the bar chart, it depends on how high or how wide you go.
Okay, so these are percentages of women who have, the blue is have a university degree, the oranges have a school certificate, and the gray is has no qualifications, no school, no graduations at all. Okay. Same on this one. The gray are people with no qualifications. And so these are percentages, but these are numbers. And they don't tell us exactly how many they are, or maybe they are percentages as well. Oh yeah, they are. Okay, yeah, these are percentages as well because they're out of 100% on all of them. So
usually bars do not represent percentages because you can go 120, you can see 130 and 300, yeah. But
you can see what they've done here. But you can see what they've done here. They've expressed the percentages as bars.
Yeah, they have done it, but statistically, it's not the correct way, generally.
It's not what you usually see. But looking at this, what catches your eye first? Where does your eye go when you look at this bar chart? What do you see?
The blue color.
Yes. And what do you see in the blue color?
The maximum range.
Okay, but what, so blue color is
university degree.
Okay, so who has the most university degrees?
The second one.
Yeah, exactly. So 24 to 35. And who has the fewest?
The last
75
one.
Plus.
75 and older. Exactly. Good. And as far as having a school certificate, is it similar?
Yeah.
Almost similar.
Good. And who are the and who have the least qualifications?
75 plus.
Yep. Followed by the 50 to 75. Excellent. Right. So now let's look at the bottom one. So that's what I mean by key features. Those are the things you need to talk about in your description. All right. So if you look at these two pie charts, so of all women of all ages, these are the percentage who have no qualifications, a school diploma, or a university degree. Okay, of all of the men, all ages, this is the percentage who have no qualifications, a school certificate, and a university degree. What stands out? What do you see when you look at those two charts side by side?
Men are more educated in
Are
number.
By
Yeah,
a lot or a little?
a little.
Yes, they're almost the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's okay to say, if there's not a big difference, it's okay to say that. All right. It's, you know, that's as important. If there's very little difference, that's as important as a big difference. Okay. Because once again, you want to describe this so that someone else can draw it just from your description. Okay.
Like you said, it depends on scenarios. In a countries like Afghanistan, that will be very fantastic figure if someone see it. But in a country like the UK, it could still be considered, there is no exact equality or something.
Very good. Yes. Would you include that statement in this essay?
Considering the circumstances, yes.
On the IELTS, you can't include that in the essay. On this essay, you have to describe only what you see. Okay, save that for the task 2 essay, where you do give your opinion. All right. In this essay, you really have to just describe what you see. You're not asked to give an opinion. You're simply asked to analyze the data, the visual data that you're presented with, or the numeric data that you're presented with. Okay?
That's true. Yeah.
All right. So it's a really interesting point. It's fabulous. And once you're studying in university, go right ahead. But through the IELTS, I'm afraid on this particular task, we have to leave the opinions out. Okay, it's just describe what you see so that somebody else can understand it. And I have included here a sample answer for this. And this is a really good example of how the structure of this, this would be. So we've got a bar chart. It tells us the bar chart and pie charts illustrate the percentage of people in Glasgow having 3 levels of education and the year. The information is divided into 5 age groups in the bar chart and by gender in the pie charts. So there you are. It's a full description of what you saw, right? The next statement is the most important, and I really want you to focus on this word, overall. So describe what you see, and your next sentence is going to be overall, and you're going to describe what it looks like. All right, what are the most important parts? This is where you describe the key features. And then in the next paragraph, you're going to give the data details on those key features. So overall, the majority of people with university education were in younger age groups, while the oldest age group, most people did not have any qualifications. The proportions of men and women were similar and showed little difference between the levels of education. And here we go. The rest of it is giving the details that you have read, the data that support those key features, that illustrate those key features. So hopefully that helps you see. So once you've got, so the work that we did looking at them and coming up with and describing them, That's about half the work on this. And the rest of it is merely finding the percentages, the actual numbers that support the observation that you've made in the overall statement. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see how we're doing. Yeah, right. So this one's got some errors. I will send this to you so that you can go through it. But before I hand you over to Corinne, which will happen in just a second, I'm going to show you this page. This is your page, your happy place. I will give this link in the email, and all of these are practice questions with an example answer. This is your opportunity. Do each of them multiple times, okay? This is your practice place. So if you click on one of these, you'll get a diagram. So here's a process diagram. How do I write about a process diagram? Well, follow the pattern that I've given you and then compare your answer to their answer and see what you've missed and what you think you need. And send me the results, okay?
This is scary.
Scary? Oh.
Yeah, this picture.
Yeah, this one's a challenge. You have to understand a little bit about what you're looking at, but you can just describe it clearly. It's why it's practice. You can, let's see. All right. But we'll go through as much as we can of these. You can always start with a line graph to start with. They're a little bit easier. Okay. So start with a line graph, build your way up. By the time you've done a couple of these, the process diagram won't be as hard because you know that you're looking at relationships between things and you'll get better at them. Like I said, I will include this link. Please use it. Please practice. This is the way it gets easier. Now I'm going to hand this over to Corinne, who wants to talk about the rest of the afternoon. Thank you guys for all of your hard work. You've been fantastic as usual.